Welcome to the video series for first-time homebuyers. I'm Tammy Wagner with Lakeshore Realty. I'm here with Suzanne Metzger, who's a tax accountant with Magnuson McHugh, a local accounting firm here in Coeur d'Alene. Suzanne's going to talk to us about the first-time homebuyer tax credit. Suzanne, thanks for coming.
Thank you, Tammy, for having me. The first-time homebuyers credit actually began in 2008, but the law has been revised for 2009. The credit has been increased to $8,000, $4,000 for a single person or a married person filing separately. There is no more recapture on that credit if the home is maintained as a principal residence for 36 months after the original purchase date. There is a phase out on this credit in the fact that if you make between $75,000 and $95,000 as a single person, or $150,000 to $170,000 as a married filing joint couple, that credit will ratably phase out. The $4,000 and $8,000 credit limits are maximums. The credit is actually figured as 10% of the purchase price up to either the $4,000 for a single person or $8,000 for a married couple. No ownership in a principal residence is allowed for the prior 3 years. That is 3 years as in 36 months prior to either your closing date, or if you're building a new home, 36 months prior to the certificate of occupancy being released. And as far as a principal residence, that term is pretty broad in the fact that a principal residence can also mean a home, but also a mobile home, a houseboat, or anything else that meets the principal residence rules for the IRS. Now, pretty much everybody qualifies for it, but there are a few situations where you would not qualify for the first-time home buyer's credit. Non-resident aliens are not permitted to take the first-time home buyer's credit. The first-time home buyer's credit is not allowed for a residence outside of the United States of America. The first-time home buyer's credit is not allowed unless you actually purchase the home. Therefore, homes acquired by gift or inheritance are not allowed for the first-time home buyer's credit. Related parties of lineal descentage, in other words, a child, a parent, or a grandparent selling you a home, would disqualify you from receiving the first-time home buyer's credit. It was also disallowed if you received the Washington, D.C. home buyer's credit, although I don't think that's going to be a problem in the state of Idaho. And anybody that ceases to have that home be their main home in the same year that it was purchased. Now the home, if it had been purchased in 2008, would have been under the old law, which was repayment over 15 years with the first installment beginning in 2010. Again, accelerated if that home was no longer your principal residence. But homes purchased in 2009 do not have to repay those amounts as long as the home is maintained as principal residence for the 36-month period. There are some exceptions to repayment. If there is death, surviving spouse repays 50%. If there is a divorce, the spouse that receives the home repays the entire credit. If there's involuntary conversion, which means loss due to flood, right-of-way purchase, etc., there is no repayment. And then if the home is sold for a loss, again, no repayment. Keep in mind that if you are purchasing before December 1st, 2009, which is the deadline for this law, you can actually choose to have the home considered for tax reporting purposes as a purchase in 2008. That would allow you to either amend those tax returns for 2008, get those funds much quicker because the whole credit is refundable, or you can choose to just report it on your 2009 return. Finally, if there are multiple owners, keep this in mind. If you are considering marrying somebody that has already owned a home in the principal residence in the first 36 months, please keep it in mind that you would lose the credit as well, so you may consider, as a tax planning technique, buying the home as two individuals prior to marriage, because then the credit can be assigned in any reasonable method according to the IRS. Tammy, I want to thank you for inviting me today. It's been great.
Awesome. Thanks, Suzanne. We really appreciate it. And please join us for our other series within this first-time homebuyer series. Thanks.